dumb as that, right?
Folks, can I have you go right on the other side?
I have to tell you, not much stops me in my tracks. When I got a call to play this song for Skip, I'm stopped in my tracks.
We gotta keep the door.
One thing I will tell you about meeting Skip, first time I met Skip was at a Rotary meeting. Like everyone in this room knows, Skip is very magnetic. Once you met Skip, you will never forget Skip. And I am definitely one of those. Yep. Don't let the old man in. I wanna live me some more. Can't leave it up to him.
Go right around the corner in the other room. You gotta keep this entrance.
And I knew all of my life someday it would end. Get up and go outside. Don't let the old man in. Many moons I have lived. My body's weathered and worn. Well, ask yourself how would it be if you didn't know the day you were born. Well, try to love on your wife. Stay close to your friends. Toast each sundown with wine. Don't let the old man in. If you know the song, there's a chorus in here where he hums along, so hum along with me in honor of Skip. Many moons I have lived. My body's weathered and worn. Well, ask yourself how would it be if you didn't know the day you were born. When he rides up on a horse, and you feel the cold bitter wind. Look out your window and smile. Look out your window and smile. Don't let the old man in.
Thank you, Jim. Yeah, Skip was leaving a couple little secrets left for so when I sat down with Skip a couple years ago, actually, we talked about what was going to happen when we did his memorial. He mentioned that he didn't really want a religious service. He didn't want somebody to stand up here and deliver a eulogy and a traditional funeral. And he said, okay, so who's going to do the service? He just kind of looked at me. So, here we are. So, I'm not a minister. But this is where you're all going to help us, because this is going to be a true celebration of Skip's life. And I'm not going to make you all come up here and talk, but if anybody wants to, everybody will be able to hear you. And there's a crowd of people in the back that couldn't make it in this room, and they're listening to us through this thing here. So it'll be a lot easier for them to hear you from up here. Is there anybody that wants to start off? All right, so I'll start off. So it was a little over about a month and a half ago. Skip was the Grand Marshal in the flag day parade, almost 2 months ago. And normally the fire department and everything takes care of making sure everything's all lined up, and they normally have a fire truck they use for some people. And anyways, I talked to Skip about, because he was, and I said, well, if you want to ride with me up to the parade, that'd be great. So he came down and I got a chance to ride up to the parade with him, and then he took his Grand Marshal duties and went on the procession of it. But it was nice to see him and see him still skip. And he fought with every piece of his being, and he left nothing in the tank at the end. And that's a testament to him and to his family, and the way that he loved his family, to stay here as long as he could. So that's my little bit. I got a chance to ride with him that day and see him still smile, and I got a chance to say goodbye to him. But and I'm sure there's other stories here. Somebody got something they want to share? Nothing? Okay. Okay, great. Perfect. Come on up.
This will be short because I didn't really know Skip all that well, but I was a good, loyal customer in a store. So every time we went around, we would have these brief snippets of conversation that were always highly pleasant. And also, I'm in the Hobart Rotary, so I'd see him at our joint Rotary dinners, and we'd also have a pleasant, short conversation. But he was just the most welcoming person, and well, we all know he was an amazing community builder, and his generosity of spirit, it just never seemed to stop. He was kind, and so even though I didn't know his history, I didn't know very much about his life, I really genuinely came to love Skip. And I have one little story, and just that in one of those snippets, I said to him, what's your key? What's your most important key to business success? And his answer was so simple and so right on. It was, if you're opening a business, be open the hours that you say you're going to be open. That kind of says it, you know. So I always tried to share that with budding entrepreneurs. I thought that was a good one. So that's really all I have to say, but just that I'll really miss him, just like we all will, I know. Thank you, Mary. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Julian. I met Skip and his family in late 2020 in the winter when COVID had really taken hold. I started the coffee shop right next door to the liquor store to 5 o'clock somewhere, and I had no idea what I was doing. Seriously, zero. I bought a crumbling building next door to them, and I met Skip around a fire up at the Bell in the snow. I guess it was a sort of a group meeting of the Business Association, I think, the Stanford Business Association, and he scared me. He was a, compact, silver-haired, macho guy, and these are things I generally avoid. And I determined pretty quickly that I didn't think our politics were exactly the same. I couldn't quite tell, but I was like, all right, this is what it's going to be like in this town. Let's figure it out. But either he figured out how to tone it down for me, or I grew up. But Skip and his beautiful family, all the folks at 5 o'clock somewhere, became indispensable friends and supporters and neighbors and business partners, because you really are a business partner with someone right next door. And you have to understand how little I knew what I was doing, and how important it was to have this group of people led by Skip, a man I really just come to know because he was a neighbor, reach out, give me pointers like the one that you mentioned. And I remember it distinctly, saying, if you're gonna be open, you gotta be open. And I didn't know, so I did that, and it worked. And whether Skip was saying, you can cut down those trees, whatever they were that were growing all over my building. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll do that too. And that worked. Or sometimes we would just stand there next to each other in the parking lot between our two buildings, and he would just kind of like give me a little nudge, just like I have to say it, like a dad. And my father had died very recently before this, so I guess I had a space to fill, and he filled it. And he filled it quietly and simply and without any fanfare. He just did it. He just showed up and offered me an encouraging, loving, fatherly support system when I really needed it. And I was very grateful for the chance to say thank you to the whole family, to the town of Stamford, that he and Pat were really, they held down that whole side of town. So that's it. I'm just very grateful to be here, and grateful for the chance to become friends with Skip and his family. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Don Walling. I'm Pat's older brother, and a question that I've heard over the years is, how the heck did Skip get from St. Petersburg, Florida to Stamford? And I've gotten bits and pieces over the years, but I hope someone in the family before this breaks up today will explain that. It's pretty interesting. Anyway, so Skip was, I first heard about the Skip, I was one of the last ones to get to know Skip in the family. I was flying planes for the U.S. Navy and wasn't home much, so, but everybody, I said, who's the Skip? And who's the Skip? And they said, oh, I don't know. All we can say, he's a keeper. So sure enough, he and I got to know him. I soon found out he's really a keeper. He's not just a brother-in-law, he's a brother. So I have stories to tell, but I'm not going to tell any. I want more of you to come up. Mine is very short. I could tell you about the time that Skip the Trooper was, we were all country, when my wife and I, ex-wife and I, Pat Barb, we moved back to Stamford in '71. We did like everybody else did. We took up cross-country skiing. After about 4 years of this, Skip was just curious enough where he thought he might want to try it. So there was a Scotch Valley at the time, or was it Deer Run then? I'm not sure, but they often had, during the full moon, they often had night skiing, night cross-country trail skiing. And Skip decided that was the night he was going to try cross-country skiing. All right, so fortunately they broke us up into 3 groups. We all arrived with our skis, and I think Skip rented his from Faulkner's Sports Shop on the corner downtown. But anyway, he was a trooper, and he was going to do it, so broke us up into like beginner, intermediate, and more advanced cross-country skiers, and we said, Skip, you're over there. What do you mean I'm over there? That's beginner group. He says, I'm no beginner. So anyway, couldn't convince him, so he joined the intermediate group. Some of us joined him in the intermediate group. It was a full moon, and Well, he was a trooper. I don't know how he did. We started off, we set the expert skiers on ahead, and then it was time for us to go, the biggest group, the intermediate. So I stayed back with Skip, and the first part of it wasn't very easy, cross country, because it was like where you ski down, and then there was a bunch of these things within the first half mile. So I'd ski a little bit ahead of him, turn around and watch him and listen to him. It really wasn't fair to make him do those, but he just was down, and he never managed to go up. He'd go down and fall. So anyway, it was, he made it to a certain, maybe halfway, I don't know, but he said, well, that's it. I remember him ripping those skis off his boots and charging off back to the ski lodge, and he says, you guys go on, seriously, I'll be fine at the lodge. So, but anyway, that's my quick little story. I know you all know him from later years, but I thought I'd throw a little one in from about 1972. Yeah, Skip was a trooper, as you all know. Anyone else, please?
Good afternoon. I took a few notes down today because I first met Skip through Rotary. And I was welcomed into the Rotary Club when, I'd like to say, 30 some odd years ago. I was a mere child. But I was young, came to the club. Skip was always there, very welcoming. And he quickly put his leadership to test as he pushed me to become the treasurer of the club within the first 6 months of joining. I had no idea what I was doing, but Skip was right there encouraging and pushing me. It became very apparent in my career at Rotary with Skip that he was one of the doers. He made things happen. And we were blessed with Griff Brooks as our chief cook and bottle washer at our Labor Day barbecue every year. And Skip was right at his right-hand side taking notes and learning how to serve 600 pounds of chicken in an afternoon. We had a lot of fun up there. He took the charge of all of our food events because that's what Skip liked to do. And we raised a lot of money at the Power Authority and at various places with Skip's leadership, keeping us all together. He was always very good-natured about it. He took care of all the ordering, the supplies, and storing of all of our items for our successful events. Skip was, as you know, Rotary met weekly, which was a commitment. And Skip always was there. He often came a little bit late, but he was there. And he provided an enormous amount of input and guidance on where our club should focus our needs in the community to solve, and what the Rotary Club should be doing for the community of Stamford. And we've seen that repeatedly, not just in Rotary, but in his commitment to other items like other groups like the Historical Society, the Chamber Business Alliance. His passion was Stamford, and it was pretty remarkable to watch it. I have one story about Skip at the bank, and that was, I was a loan officer at the bank, and Skip would often come in, and he always had some notes jotted down on the back of an envelope. And he came in one day, and he said, "Hi, I gotta talk to you." He was all serious. And I said, what's going on, Skip? I said, "What can I help you with?" And he turns his envelope around, and he says, "Pat and I have an idea about a liquor store in Stamford." He said, "Here's my business plan." I said, "Of course, Skip, it's an envelope." I said, "Could you expand on this a little bit?" Oh, he says, I think we got a good idea here." And I said, after I got through, "You're crazy to do this, and are you sure Pat's on board?" He put some more formal numbers together for me, and away they went. and boy, away they went, they did. He came in after the first month, another envelope. I don't know where this one came from, but on the back of it was his distinctive handwriting. And there was the projecting numbers he had given me several months ago versus the actual. And I was blown away. And I think he was a little bit too. And that's how our relationship went. He brought in backs of envelopes with numbers on it. And I said, you guys are knocking it out of the park. Keep up the good work. And the passion was there. And Skip was, he loved Stanford. He was my biggest cheerleader, and I will miss him.
Hello. I am Skipper's grandson, Heath, and I have a few stories to share, so bear with me here. I just thought of these while other people were speaking, so we'll see how this goes. First thing I want to talk about was Skipper's love of sports, specifically the Yankees and the Florida Gators. If you know me, you know that I hate to watch sports. I don't but whenever he was sitting in his chair, no matter what age I was, I would just sit down with him and watch at least part of the game with him, and ask him a bunch of questions because I know nothing about baseball or football. And he would always give me a lot of thoughtful answers, and it helped me intrigue to try to watch the game. And he was just really good at talking to me and helping me understand things that I really didn't want to understand in the first place. Another thing that I wanted to talk about Skipper is that one thing, especially when I was younger, how we really bonded is by what you can see what I'm wearing right now is jewelry. I've always loved jewelry and gold and sparkly gemstones. And I was always asking questions about how much is this worth? Oh, can this fit me? Usually it couldn't. And one thing I was always really intrigued in was in this little gray ring case was a gold ring with a emerald embedded on it. And I was like, oh my God, can I have this? I said this for years on end, to the point where, 3 years ago, I'd say, 4 years ago, he actually, for my birthday, although I wasn't able to bring it with me because we were in a rush to get out of the house, he got me my own emerald ring with silver, and it had a really cool pattern on the ring, and it was probably one of the happiest days of my life. Two more things, bear with me here. Another thing that always intrigued me about Skipper is when he told things about his past, specifically when building. He always told me stories about building things and how he talked to his coworkers and what it was like. And I was like, he actually built this. This scrawny old man actually did something. And he'd always tell me about the things that he built, and they were very intriguing. He built things from houses to, I'm pretty sure he built a few things in New York City too. And it was really, and one time, every once in a while when I would go to New York City, because my uncle used to live there, I asked my mom once if she could text Bumpa. I was like maybe 7 at the time, and ask him if he built the building my uncle lived in. And it was obviously no, and I was like, I was very confused because I thought he built everything in New York City. One more story I have to share. This one was probably the most recent out of the four. I would say I have a terrible sense of time. Between 8 months and I don't even know. 6 months to a year ago, I'd say I asked Bumpa if he could teach me to drive because I'm not a very good driver. So we did this twice, I'm pretty sure. The second time went pretty smoothly. We were just driving around in an empty lot. But the first time was something. So the first time, the entire event probably lasted 6 or 7 minutes. We got in his red pickup truck in our grandma's driveway, and he said, okay, what we're gonna do is that you're gonna go down the straight driveway to the connected house, you're gonna go onto the freeway, and then go back up the other driveway, yes. So the first part was good. I got onto the freeway. I turned. Everything was going really smoothly. But then when I tried to go up, things did not go as planned. I tried to go up, and I was like, why are we moving? Why do I hear tires skidding? We were just staying in one place. I was flooring it, trying to get up the thing, and then Bumpa said, park the car, stop it, we're not directly in the freeway, it'll be fine. I get out of the car, and I see all over the road just gravel everywhere. The driveway was bare. Eventually, Bumpa drove it up the driveway, and I just looked at the masterpiece I made. I don't know how long it took to clean up, but it was fun. Thank you. Thank you.
So that's going to be a tough act to set the bar high. I just have one funny story because I feel like Uncle Skip everybody talked about, was so amazing at welcoming and made you feel special. But he had an amazing sense of humor. And although this story, I think, is appropriate for today, Dewey gave me the thumbs up that it was okay to. So, Uncle Skip, I know. So, being the oldest, I was 10 when Lauren was born, and Pat and Skip moved back. So I had a special place with Aunt Pat and Uncle Skip being the oldest. And for a while here, Aunt Pat and Uncle Skip had a taxi service that they would take people to New York and back or wherever. And there was one, I don't know, January afternoon, I was 12, and you know what January is like in Stanford. And I'm gonna tell you, this is 1980s, so we did not, kids, have the internet or 400 channels. I mean, we had snow. So Uncle Skip had a call from Mr. Alexander, and he said, Aline, I gotta go to Staten Island and pick up a body and bring it back. Do you want to come with me? And I'm like, I got nothing. So Uncle Skip and I get in the car, and we're driving down. We always stop at the the rest areas and get food and ice cream, and we go to Staten Island, and I'm sitting in the car, and in the what is it, the dual tan station wagon, family truckster, and all the seats were down, and in rolls, a body, and we start our truck back to Stanford, and we pull over to get gas at one point, and people are looking inside the family truckster, and one guy's, he's like, is that what I think it is? And Skip's like, yep, sure is. So, 12, mind you, 12. And Skip comes in, he goes, Lady, take a bite out of the Snickers bar. All right. Took a bite. He unzips the body bag and puts the Snickers bar right in the body bag and zips it back up. Poor Mr. Alexander. He doesn't tell you, but he, as welcoming and wonderful as he is, and he will always be with us, he also had a crazy sense of humor. And that will always stay with me. It's one of the best skipper times I've had.
Oh, wait, Gregory's going.
Hi, I'm Greg, Skip's brother, and he was a wonderful person. He was the greatest brother any brother could have, and he was always kind to everyone, and he, as far as I know, he always told the truth. And he was a great example to have as an older brother, and I will miss him greatly. And I just wanted to share that I see that he had plenty of friends that loved him too. He was a great person. He really was. Thank you.
I've got a lot of pressure from the hooligans in the back, so. I'm Dewey Walling. I'm my sister Pat's much younger brother. And at Thanksgiving or any other family event, I remind everybody of that. And I, just because I can. So I have one funny story. I have several, but I'm going to only bore you with one. When Skip and Pat decided to date, they went out on a date. They're going to go to Onion or something like that. I'm thinking, yeah, sure. Yeah, you're going to go. You're going to take my sister out? Sure you are. So somehow Dad let Skip drive the Buick to Oneonta. I got in the back seat, but nobody knows. We're about halfway up Mile Hill, and I went, bah! Heath, that was a tough act to follow you, but that, you know, that's the best I could do. Nah, never mind.
Hi, I'm Barry Jack now. You had the young one, now you get the old one. Skip and Pat were among my first friends coming up here in the early 80s. And that was because Tracy's mom and Skip's mom were good friends. So they introduced us to that crowd. And we used to have Friday night pizzas at our house. Pizza and wine. Lots of wine. We had some good times. But one trip we took to Canada, to the vineyard of relatives. I forget how they're connected. And they're here? Ah! Are you the cigar smoking guy? One of them. 3 great brothers. We smoked cigars and we drank wine. We had a great time. Oh, and that's Bobby. Yeah. So anyway, it's a long ride from here up there. And we went with several cars, and I ended up in the car with Skip. And it's about a 6-hour ride. So Skip told me his practically his whole life story, all the jobs he had, how he came up from St. Petersburg. And he had a dry cleaning business. He had an ice cream parlor business. They had a coffee shop. They had a garbage disposal business. And so he went on for like 3 hours. But I got my revenge because, then I started spouting my left-wing, ideology. And poor Skip was dying. So we finally get up there and he sees Don. And he says, "Don, you won't believe it, man. I had to listen for 3 hours to this guy's monologue." And the two of them looked at me and they said, "Shut the hell up." Well, we had a great time. He really is a great guy. And I don't think we will ever see an event like this in Stamford ever again for anybody. Thanks.
I'm not going to get up there. Just stand here. I can yell enough.
There's people in the cheap seats back there.
I'm Dean Darley. My wife Joey and Pat were the best buds. Grade school right on. They got in trouble together. Did a lot of things together that you don't want to know about. In the last couple of years, Skip and I would talk over the Gators football a little bit, or those Buffalo Bills. And with what Pat and Joey went through as growing up and family and friends, and I'd ask Skip something about something that was a little out of line, or something new in town, or something new in the government or something, and I just want to say what Skip would say to me, and he would say the same thing here today. He says, "Can you believe it?" That would be his answer to, I said, "What about this or that?" And he says, "Can you believe it?" I'm saying that about this with Skip. Can you believe it? You've all got your own little memory about him.
For those of you that don't know me, my name is Kara Tate. Tates and Heaths have been friends for a very long time. So, a little bit about me. I have a twin sister. She's an English teacher. She's a very prolific poet. She's really good at it. Me, I really only write when something is really bugging me or upsetting me. So I had to put something together here for the family. So here we go. Not sorrow nor sadness can sum up this badness that is the loss of our Skip. These capture not the vigor and vim that were the substance of him. With a laugh and a smile, he was always a rip. But larger still was his heart, and though now we must part, he was like family to all. It's not so odd for us to think he's with us having a drink as we toast his life's last call. A man of many stories, kindness, and humor, just some of his glories. Skip's looking down from above, as always, sharing the love. Thank you, Skip. Sorry.
You're good.
I was going to do this, but apparently the DJ or the lean got permission from Dewey, so I can tell a little Roger story.
I don't know if you can talk to one.
During the pandemic, we got to spend a lot of time together because Christopher and I ran away from Brooklyn to escape the zombies of COVID. And we got stuck with Pat, Skip, and Ula. That was our plan in a real long time. We played a lot of Cards Against Humanity. And we sat around Pat and Skip's dining table and we drank a lot. And they were running a business and we talked about a show that I want to pitch to Bravo called The Real Alcoholics of Delaware County. So it was in these times and in this sort of bubble of life that we had for a couple months that, I don't know, Chris and I just started to get a little, well, let's push a button. Let's push another button. And this game called Let's Get a FU at Award Pat or Skip started. And it's been going on since then. And if you ever are around me, particularly, I feel like I'm winning. Christopher's are a little bit more subtle digs, but when he gets you to get a FU from Chris, you know you've been had. And of course, Pat's the unicorn. She's only giving you like once ever. So if anyone can get one out of Pat, please come and tell me. I'll put your name on the board. But Skip and Ula, they were real easy. Real easy. Still are. I'm gonna get one any second now. It's part of this. But anyway, so this game has been played for years and years and years in every sort of situation. I'll just try to little egg on Skipper, and make sure he's still got the blood flowing. And about a couple days before he passed, he was sitting in his chair. Everybody knows his chair. When I think actually golf was on, and Uncle Greg was there, and Uncle Greg was getting ready to leave. And true to the Heath brothers, they tell stories in very great detail for a very long time. And there's often a lot of show and tell involved. And so Uncle Greg just finishes telling me this story, and I've got this perfect opportunity. I can tell Skipper's got his eyes closed. But he's listening. He's kind of got a smile on his face, and I said, oh, God, this might be my last opportunity. So I said, Uncle Greg, I have a genetic question for you. Do you also put your shoes on before you put your pants on? Like your older brother does. And Uncle Greg goes, no, that's weird. And Skipper from across the room just goes like this. So I have to say, up until the end, I do feel like I get that last point when I got to the final at the end. Because the man did, in fact, put his shoes on before he put his pants on. That's not a lie. Please remember that the next time you get dressed.
You inspired me, so I have to go on a tangent about Skip. My name is Kieran. I'm son of John Barber. We were neighbors with Skip for about 30 years, and I was lucky enough to know him as a kid and then into adulthood, but the person never changed. He was always the very consistent Skip. But we used to go over to his house for Lobster Fest and Super Bowl parties every year. And as a regular adult, seeing 4 children, ravenous children, coming over for soda because we were never allowed to at our house, it would be terrifying. But Skip was overjoyed every single time, and it just made his day seeing us, and it made us feel great that the adult was so accepting. And then through the years, moving out to Seattle and coming back to the Catskills, always on my itinerary, because Dad requires an itinerary for every visit. I would have cocktails with Skip and Patty right there on the itinerary. And then same during the COVID winter. I escaped from Seattle back to the Catskills for a couple months, and then just found myself kind of living at the Heath's house over time and helping him out at 5 o'clock somewhere. And just those memories with Skip of just stocking shelves and listening to his stories and his knowledge about everything, any topic he just knew about. But the best part about him was, and Barry touched on it with his ideologies, as a man who's claimed to be so set in his ways, he had such a genuine curiosity about every person he came into, and I think that's what made him such a successful business owner too, is that you were never a stranger when you were in Skip's atmosphere. Watching him at 5 o'clock somewhere where people would you know, come in with their head down, just trying to purchase something. Within 2 minutes, Skip had them telling him his life story too. And again, that genuine curiosity was just amazing. And again, if I could leave it with Skip's classic line of, now why is that? Anytime you would set across a belief system, he would never negate it, he would never try to turn away from it, but he would want to know, now why is that? So I hope everyone today will walk away with Skip's line into life and go into it with a genuine curiosity. Thank you.
Every time, I'm getting closer every time.
Hi, I'm Russ Grandinetti. I met the Patties when they bought our family home, John and Lauren, and then I got to know the rest of the family, and it's been really something because we started out just being friends and then good friends and then became family. Here I am with everybody. But when, I guess when I first started coming around, they were doing some renovation on the house. And John and Skip were in the basement. They were taking up this wooden floor that we put down years ago. And Skip was over there, and he's taking a screw gun, he's taking them out one at a time, and John's standing there waiting for the piece, and then he takes it. And I come on and I go, you know, I got an idea, John. He goes, what? I go, man, take this part, boom, and I pop it up. I put it down. So he goes, oh, great. So like John's seeing stuff getting done. He's like, all right, good. So we're popping them up. And then we started poking fun at Skip because he was still there with the screw gun going. And he goes, all right, you little heckerheads, let me tell you something. And I go, oh. John looks like standing on a little rascal. He's like, and he takes off in the garage. I'm like, hey, don't you hear what this guy's pissed over the hammer? And I don't even know him. So that was the beginning. That was the beginning of meeting Skip. And then, you know, he was just a love of a guy. But, you know, after time, you know, as I got to know him, he just had this look. Like, whenever I came in the door, he looked at me like, I've known what you've been doing for the last 2 hours. It wasn't good, I'm not going to say it. I just could look. He'd look at me and I go, but it was always just a pleasure. But I think on another note, the thing that was amazing was that, you know, whenever he was around, he'd be like sitting around reading the paper. You know, it was like nice and quiet. And it was just such a pleasure because it made me feel safe. You know, I mean, when he was around, you just felt safe. Like, nothing could ever go wrong that he couldn't handle. He would just look up and go, don't worry, I got this. But that was one of the things I really enjoyed about him. Really great. Thank you.
Try this one more time. You guys did all the work for me. So we're going to conclude with a recording of a song. Couldn't find somebody to sing this live, but this is the last surprise for this service that Skip has.
When the world goes wrong, as it's bound to do, and you've broken and you did grow, and you long for the girl you used to love, the maid of long ago. While I your pipe with sorrow goodbye, blow the smoke from your organ of dreams, and read your dream girl back. The love that is just what it seems. The girl of my dreams is the sweetest girl of all the girls I know. She's sweet poet, like a rainbow thread, fades in the afterglow. The blue of her eyes and the gold of her hair are a blend of the western sky and the moonlight gleam on the girl of my dreams. She's a sweetheart of Christmas time. The blue of her eyes and the gold of her hair are a blend of the western sky and the moonlight gleam on the girl of my dreams. She's a sweetheart of Christmas time.
Oh, you got one. I'd like to thank you all for coming and showing your support and your love over the last several hours here. I know Pat and Skip's family and appreciate everyone being here. When you are ready to head out, please come forward and pay your respects. And when you do head, depart in peace. Thank you.